Hello and welcome to About the Albums. The album we're talking about today is The Pool of Creation, which came out in September of 2012. And I'm going to try to make sure I'm just going to mention this up front, hopefully now, and remember to do that. I'm going to have the album playlist in the description. I'll probably have links to possibly each individual song and timestamps to each, the things about each song in there to just make it easier to navigate this if you'd like. But the Pool of Creation was kind of interesting because it was kind of an experiment of how to create an album. Whereas before, I would kind of just record all the stuff for the album in a row, and then once I had enough for an album, I would stop and whatever, and then it's an album, and then I would record more stuff. But for this, I recorded a bunch of stuff, and then essentially I decided, alright, I've got a lot of things here, and I want to make an album now. And I essentially had enough for 2 albums. And I took all what I thought was the best stuff and put it on the Pool of Creation, because it was the pool of all the stuff I had created, right? And then all the other stuff went on to the album What Have We Learned, which we'll get to next time. But for this one, this is the Pool of Creation, which at the time I thought was all the better stuff. Either better stuff or I strayed away from any instrumental stuff and tried to make it all with me singing on it. So those are kind of the things I focused on for the Pool of Creation. And without further ado, I should have said let's dive in, because it's like a pool, but I was going to say let's get to it, so I kind of screwed up my own shit right there. Put a corkscrew in my own turd, so to speak.
We're right on this road. We're right on it. We're right on this road. We're right on.
We Ride On kicks off the album with a bang. It's a really just a fun, jumping, hopping song, and it's just, I don't know, I think it's a really good one to start the album off on. And it's one where I really liked the guitar riff. I think was neat. Just it's the beat of it and the way it went. And it's not typically how I would play things, but it was cool. Plus, the drums were also interesting, so I like that both of those are interesting with, their beat and, what they do in the song, and keeps you, interested, or keeps me interested anyways. And then there was, the other instruments and stuff in there are neat, too, for some of that, using the way I implemented the whistle. It's very much like a Western, Western-y, we're on horses and riding around, and we're just going, wherever, because we like going out and adventuring, riding on our horses. Is kind of the thought. And actually that's why it made its way onto, I mentioned this on the About the Albums, before, on Assorted Sam, there was the album, Life in the West, no, Gunned Down in the West, that was the title, I get it confused, Gunned Down in the West, and so, this was one of the songs that was an old song that I put onto there as part of it, along with a few new songs. This was one of the older ones that went on there, because it fit, with a theme and everything, and I liked it already, so, again, there was no need to have redundancies like that, so, this is already here, and it's great where it is. It's great wherever it is, but the thing is, we just fine to leave it here and not have to put it in multiple different, places, because, I don't know, I don't want to do that.
When the movie ends, the names come and go. Sit back and relax. Let the credits roll.
Let the Credits Roll is a cheesy song about just watching movies with friends, and doing just a movie night, binge watching movies, and the music itself is kind of cheesy, um, which I kind of like. It's probably better than the singing, where I kind of hit some weird notes in there. It wasn't great. Um, I don't know a whole lot of great verses or anything either. Like lyrically, it's not great, but um, I think it does kind of still survive a bit on the cheesiness of the song, or like the music itself, and I don't know. I mean, it's nice to see a song where I don't seem, horribly depressed. That's there aren't a lot of those, so it's good. And I've seen movies before, so it's good.
Come back once more. Nintendo 64.
When Did the World Change plays it pretty straight for most of the song, just about, trying to keep up with trends, about how things keep changing, technology is advancing, and it seems like you just get into something finally, and then, and you're not, real hip and happening. Like the whippersnappers today, even when I was one, it's seems like it's just like as soon as I get into something, it's already on the way out. Um, but then you get the hard turn when I mentioned Nintendo 64, and that was really the big root of this, was that it was just kind of about this feeling of like Nintendo 64 was new to me. I was born in '92. It was like one of the first systems I had that was like new. Um, so it always kind of felt new to me, and got to the point where it was like an older system and it was aging, and it was like out of the, basically it kind of went out of the main stores, and then it was like there was like this period of time where like there was a period of time, it was like basically before Nintendo 64 became like a cool retro thing, and retro game. I mean, retro gaming was different back then too, but it's like before it was really classified as retro enough to be like sold again in places, with with the desirability of it, anyways. Um, but yet it was too old to really be out even in like the used places yet. So like there was just kind of a little gap of time there where it was like Nintendo 64 just doesn't exist anymore, and it was weird, and I hated it. um, and that's why I wanted it to come back. So it's based on that. Did I mention I'm a big fat nerd? I think that was in a different AVA, but I did, because I am. I mean, like, you heard how nerdy that is, and I mean,
I got you too. I got you too. Yeah.
A Catchy Tune is really simple. It's pretty repetitive playing of these basically these two riffs, and then putting some other instruments and whatnot on top of them, repeating the same thing over and over in order for it to become catchy, for it to get stuck in your head. And I think I actually went on a bit of a, I think this is the song I did this with. I made a Facebook page back then, and it was just like I wanted to see how many people I could get to like watch that video. I think it was either that or something else. But I remember sharing it, trying to like get that around to people so it would catch on, and it really didn't. But that was kind of the idea. The experiment didn't work. Experiment was a failure. But song's okay. I don't hit the best notes on it, especially once I start going high on those notes. But the music itself is nice. I still like that riff a lot. I mean, it is really catchy to me. It's one I could just kind of keep going on for a long time. So I probably wouldn't be too bad of a one to try and redo at some point. Much better, but I don't know when. I don't have any desire to do it soon or anything. So for now, it's just gonna have to stay as catchy as it is, and it's self-aware that it is trying to be a catchy tune. So it is about what it is. Yeah.
Waiting in
Waiting Room is another one that relies on the synth drum set, that has, like notes to those one set of drums on there. So I was using that again. And the other, percussion instruments in it are trying to kind of simulate things like the sound of crickets and like the ticking of watches and clocks, because it's about waiting in the waiting room like at a hospital, and just like it seems like time is taking forever, wondering what's going to happen, and it's just like you just feel like you're kind of aware of like everything, while you're trying to like just wait for the information you need. You're just so ready for knowing something. You're eager for it. You need it. So it's kind of that idea, which I've not really been to the waiting room or something for stuff. So like it is a weird thing for me to do, but I had a vision, and some of those tones and whatnot for that set, they helped me out. Like the little thing at the end, especially. It's like those are if that was like a cricket, that would be like a very musical cricket. So it was a neat little song.
I don't miss you anymore. I don't miss you anymore.
I Don't Miss You Anymore is a song I wrote because I had a crush on someone in high school pretty bad, and then after high school, it just kind of never heard from her again, and it was rough on me. And then basically, like this song really wasn't quite when I was actually there yet, of not missing her anymore. So it was kind of the sad thing. It was like writing this like I don't miss you anymore, to try and I guess maybe to convince myself. And that's what makes it extra sad, is that like they're gone, like someone's gone, right? And it's like, okay, well, like that's sad, but then it's extra sad that I'm like I don't miss you anymore, and it's like a lie. So that was it's a nice song though. I do still like that one. It's like the piano stuff works well, and I sang notes decently in it. I do remember like singing this one. I remember at the time recording it too, and I would tear up a little bit, like so like at the end of like recording like a take of that, trying to do it, I would think it kind of sniffly after it, and have to like give myself a few minutes there to regroup before I tried another one. So that was interesting. That's a little bit o' tid for you right there. Don't use that phrase in public though. The torches and pitchforks, you don't think they're there, but you say something like that, they come out. They are not pretty. Nor are you afterwards. I mean, shit. You ever had your face burnt and gouged by torches and pitchforks? Sucks.
This man runs on the nomad, and this man runs on the nomad.
The Nomad is about a nomadic person, or just going around and traveling across this desert. Um, idea that's like it's just like a single surviving nomad going around, and like almost like a legend. Um, I thought that was kind of neat concept of like, yeah, it's just like traveling around this desert. He's like surviving on his own. It's like, how do you survive out there? And it's like, I don't know, but this guy's doing it. Um, and just running around the desert, he's able to do it. And I don't know how much of this is true or not. I'm remembering this wrong. Um, I know this came out, and then I think what had happened is that you'll notice on Generation there's the loop, which sounds very similar. It's not the same riff, but it's very similar, and I think I maybe tried to make that in MTV Music Generator, but I didn't. like I didn't get it right, and that's how the loop's like main riffs started for like the bass thing. And then I think then when I actually made the loop for like just the song where I'm singing on it, I just copied that instead. But I believe they all kind of stemmed from this. And if not, maybe subconsciously, and if not that, then they just happen to be similar, but they're like so close. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. It's just been so long that I don't know for a certainty. And that um, is how you say ass.
Where did he go? Invisible. Where is he now? Invisible. How do you know? Invisible. Mr. Invisible.
Mr. Invisible is a song I actually played quite a few times before I actually recorded it. So I was like ready for it. I knew how it was gonna go. Um, and it's just about just this lonely dude, doesn't really talk to anybody, doesn't really have friends or anything. Just nobody really knows him anyways. He just feels like very isolated. And then he just wishes he was actually invisible. And then he gets his wish. And then all of a sudden he realizes, oh, now I actually can't like talk to anyone or anything. Like nobody knows where I am, and he hates it. And then he wants to be seen again. Um, Almost like a Twilight Zone episode or something, I guess. Um, and the music in here also kind of reminds me, like the main like kind of riff thing reminds me a bit of the show Home Movies. I know I said that for Event of the Year back on Surviving Sam, but this also gives me a bit of that vibe. So I don't know. I watched that show a while, so it was I guess there's little pieces of that up in my head still. The music in it, and having some nostalgic feelings for that, I guess. Um, and yeah, just another Twilight Zone-y kind of thing where it's like, I want this. Here you go. And it's like, wait a minute. The only difference here, yeah, is like this isn't really like a genie thing or whatever, right? Because it's like, it's not like he goes and specifically has this wish. He just kind of like desires this, and someone else is like, or like some kind of magical force or something happens, and it's like, all right. So I don't know. It is a little different, but kind of the same. I don't know. I ask if that was gonna be a setup for a bad joke. Forget it. I'm not even gonna bother.
That's just how I am. Can't you see? I am cheesy.
Cheesy is a fucking disaster. That was supposed to be like a love song, I guess. Kind of making fun of like a cheesy love song almost. More of like an attempt at one, but it's not like it was based on like feelings for anyone. It just like sounded like a cheesy song with the music, which I still really like the actual music part of it, but even the lyrics are okay for aiming that way with them, I suppose. But just the singing was just fuck. What notes are those supposed to be? Like, what the fuck was I doing? And I always am so upset that it's awful. It's just awful what has happened to it. It's a shame. There's potential there for it to be, a catchy little cheesy love song thing, and instead it's moldy. It's moldy, terrible cheese, and it's fuck. It is fuck.
Everything's big, but the truth of it all is that I am small.
I Am Small is fittingly a small song, and it's just about really how small you are and insignificant you are within the grand scheme of, the world and the universe, and there's just so much around you that's so much bigger than you. It's hard not to feel small. Which is to say, this is not a song about my penis. It's not to say that it can't be. I mean, it could also work as that, I guess. But I feel like it's maybe, sounds a bit too serious or something like that when everyone knows that, I mean, my penis is a joke.
We have no fear at all, and we won't stop until we hit the top.
What we wanted is kind of a rock anthem, arena rock thing. Something my voice isn't great for. Which is about like this. I don't know if it's even really supposed to necessarily be like, is it a team? Is it like a group of warriors? What is this? It's left kind of vague, and that they're trying to be the best. I guess this maybe seems like it's more of like a violent thing from some of the words, but it can be interpreted in other ways. And the idea is just like they want to be the best, they want to be on top, and then they get it. And it's like, where are they going down? What's the deal? Like, there's no one left to like that's supposed to be better than us. There's no more challenge. That's kind of the whole thing. I'm sure it's been done a lot of times before. And it has a way about it that's kind of interesting. This is the structure of it, but it's the end of the album anyway. Let's put it that way because it's true, and that is the pool of creation. All that stuff that I made and from the plucked out all of what I thought was the best ones, and I maybe made a few errors in judgment there, but if you, I mean, like, thanks for watching this, and if you stay tuned for the next one, you'll get to see about the albums on What Have We Learned, which is all the other songs that didn't make it onto the pool of creation, and you can see if you agree with my choices or not. So see you next time, and thanks for showing up. So the art for the pool of creation was pretty lazy. Done in MS Paint, where I just kind of drew like an area where it's going to be like, oh, there's grass, and then like a little semicircle thing for a pool. And for the remaster cover, to clean it up, I just kind of retraced most of the lines and saved it in a format so it wouldn't get all pixelated. It's sharp pixels, but like it doesn't look like it's like smudgy, blurry pixelation anymore. And also, I wanted to redo the words to help that too, but I couldn't find the exact font, so I just changed the font to this. And it's pretty basic, because I didn't put a lot of effort into it at the time, and I thought the minimalist kind of thing there would work, but I don't know if I agree with that at this point. So now it's kind of just like, well, I maybe could have tried to do more, but that's what the cover is, and I don't want to completely change it if I can help it, because as much as I liked tweaking stuff, I kind of wanted to try to keep it still close to the original stuff as I could, and just making it sound better and clearer as what it was already, and the art should probably reflect that too, if I can help it. With the only exceptions usually being ones that didn't have art in the first place, but we'll get there. Also, I don't know if this is supposed to be like coming outward, or this is supposed to be like a 2D look and this is like going downwards in the pool. I really didn't put enough detail into this at all.